Hey, it's another night for a market recap or nightly recap session. And hope everyone is well. It's the 14th, sorry, it's the 24th of October 2025. And we literally just have I think we just have next week to the end of should I call it the Q3? Oh, actually, to the end of this month in terms of trading days anyway. And I probably will say we do have my goodness, probably about 50 more trading days in the year. Last trading week of the year is next week. But anyway, that's another matter. Let's just crack on and see what we've got. So today, the market started off very nicely. I think it was very slow, and then boom, randomly it picked up. So back to the Qs again. We've got the S&P. It's just about to give us this blow off top I've been constantly tracking every day. And yeah, so things have been amazing, really. I think, like I said, it started off slowly and boom, somebody said, why, why are we pumping? And guess what? We had the news, President Trump said something about meeting with China, I think next week. So which is a catalyst for the market, really. And the market just pumped heavily on that. But before that happened, something happened. Before that happened, we had the Qs. There was a news about US taking a stake in the what's it called, in quantum companies, and it just rallied. I mean, they all moved up. This is one of them right here. But I think overall, all of them just rallied heavily. So we could see. I think this is IONQ. Yes, this is IONQ, 13%. I think QBTS. That moved heavily as well. We had 14, 13%. They all tend to move in this, the same way. RGTI. I mean, thankfully I've been out of my shorts anyway, so this all moved. There was a counter rumor that said, the president said he is not interested, or they're not currently speaking to these guys at the moment. But look, it doesn't really bother me. I think we had a huge sell-off, and it's time for a retrace back up there. So if you're trading any of these things, you've got to be careful, buyer beware, really. That's the way it works. Now, speaking of that, that's one. Another one is, it's quite funny actually, because CZ of Binance was released today. Did it really move crypto? I'm just looking at Binance. Yeah, 4%. It didn't exactly move crypto. I mean, we had this huge dump few weeks ago. It didn't exactly move crypto in any way, or BTC, USDT. So, sorry, I mean, I said it was released. It got a pardon by President Trump. Yeah, I mean, hardly any is a non-matter with crypto, really, 2%. Okay. Now, moving to earnings. So we have earnings. I think Tesla, the earnings for Tesla wasn't exactly great. Like I said again, if you're looking at GM was amazing. It was amazing. But again, we're talking about the non-EV vehicles, which is GM. And likewise, I think Ford played sympathy today. Earnings was great. Jim Farley, the CEO, was in China. I mean, it didn't exactly badly dump, but look, it's still pushing quite higher. So markets favor them again as well, and doing very well. Likewise, I mean, after hours, that's just reflected after hours, you can see there. So even though I've got to say, Tesla has made back its loss, I think it was down about 4 or 5%, but it's made it back. So probably climbing 7%. So I think the bulls were still on for Tesla. We also had Intel just a few hours ago, and Intel Corporation earnings, that is a majestic earnings. I didn't really get into the details, but what I can say is, the CEO seems to mean business, apart from getting a reprieve from the President Trump. 7% up today after hours. I mean, So that's like 11% up today, 3% into earnings, and then 7%. The CEO talk about he's trying to grow visionaries and I wouldn't call it techpreneurs, but visionaries, I think, will be ideal who can build the next generation of America. So I think trying to focus on made in America, they want to leave the past, the old in the past, because they've got a lifeline and they want to keep moving. I mean, speaking of crypto, for some reason, crypto's actually just, speaking of the alt, they've just been suppressed, really, and it just seems to have been forgotten. I'm talking about over 90 ETFs, which is awaiting SEC approval. We're talking about Solana, Ripple, XRP, Ethereum, even Doge. They would all be catalysts. But I mean, yes, 10 Solana, 9 XRP, 5 Ethereum. You would have thought this a catalyst, but nothing is happening at the moment. So I think crypto is not catching bead, but the stock market is there, and there you go. So tomorrow also we do have the very important CPI. Yes, we still have the government shutdown. So markets, like I said, has been on autopilot, but we do have CPI tomorrow, and that could be a big one. We have the month-on-month CPI, we have year-on-year CPI. That will be a big one. So you got to be careful, trade aware, and it could be a make or break for the market this year, really, because we haven't really got, a detail. We haven't got much details about where inflation is the past few weeks. Now, I was also looking at something. I was just looking at the most shorted companies today. Well, for now, and I mean, I could post a few there. Okay, I'm not going to post a list. Really, it's quite a long list. We do have Monster Beverage is about 70% short interest. Apollo, even Tesla's got 50%. OKLO, American Express, KKR, even Hood as well. Robin Hood Markets, Siemens, in Europe, Bloom Energy, Wells Fargo. So this is some of the things we are looking at. If the short interest is high, then boom, who knows how these things can perform. Again, tonight, mixed earnings. It's quite interesting because had Deck had great earnings, but guess what? It dumped. And I think, even though this is still a very good company, I didn't pay much attention to what happened after earnings. It dropped. You can see it right there. But I think long term, if you know what you're doing, relax. This is still going to be a really good buy and hold on the long term. So what was I going to say? We still do have quite a few ones. I think this is one of the busiest week for the market. I did say it's one of the most important week for the market. So we still have quite a few things. Um, Again, against tomorrow. Yeah, so like I said again, tomorrow's Friday. I don't know if I'm expecting any form of weakness, but this market is just on fire. Earnings for me has been mixed. We do have some of them not great. We do have some of them. Tesla hasn't particularly been great, but I think Elon Musk has been looking to the future. Google's been amazing. IBM wasn't exactly particularly great. Netflix, they've doubled they just keep growing subscriber base, growing the advertisement revenue. That's fantastic on one side. Apple iPhone 17 was a smash, so was amazing. So we do have some of them at the same time who haven't been great. So, I one thing I don't, if you've been there before, you've got to be careful. The fears of 99, you know, 2000 bubble, 2008, these things always come back. And, I spend bulk of afternoon looking at the past, really. I know this right now, it's easy to get carried away and everyone keeps getting over leveraged. So you got to be careful because, I mean, this was, 4 years ago when the market dumped, as we had right here. We did not get back in December 2021. We did not get back until 2 years later. And these same things do happen time and time and time again. Sometimes you don't have to be told, So be careful. Yes, market's eventually gone to reclaim its highs, but there are times where it goes down and you might not, you probably used to spend a lot in the wilderness. So we've got to be careful. Yes, right now buying the dip is winning, but look at what happened right here. This was 2000. The market did not return for, I think, for about 8 years. And we do have this kind of scenarios, and you can imagine some people who got in right here. This was 2000. There you go. 2000. You did not break even. I think it took about 18 years. If you look at that, that was yeah. Oh, sorry. As you can see, yeah, from 2000, there was no break even to about, let me do on the 3 day. Yeah, okay, there's not break even for a good, that was 2000 all the way to 2014. So it took about 15 years. I mean, it depends. And if you want to move it back, if you want to move it up a little bit, then it might take a lot longer. So, this is something you want to be wary. Look at that. That took a great 15 years. Oh, okay, there you go. I'm sure I know it was a lot more than that. Yeah. So, 15 years. So it depends on how you look at it. So sometimes you just have to be careful. Don't go with the crowd. You don't have to trade all the time. Sometimes relax, let the market do what it's going to do because there's always another opportunity. Tomorrow is going to be CPI day. It's going to be a volatile day. Look, do not chase. Right now, yes, buy the dip is working, but it's going to keep working until it's not. The market is bullish. If you want to be I mean, you don't want to trade against the trend. Go with the trend, go with the flow, and you will be good. But until then, be careful. God bless everyone. I shall see you again on the field tomorrow and take care. Have a good night. Bye bye.